Good morning, this is Randy. I'm going to read parts of an article. The article is called Deeply Grounded in Reality, and it is on a website called calmdownmind.com. And the article was posted on November 29th, 2011 by someone named Sen, S-E-N. I'm not sure if it's a male or female, but I think it's a male. I'm going to read just an interesting part of the article because it's very long, and it talks about why it is really important to be deeply grounded in reality. And I'm going to relate it to the narcissist, because narcissists are not grounded in reality. And this article will explain why it's so important to be with people, especially romantic partners, that are grounded in reality. Okay, so this author describes a situation that is fantasy-based. This is when your visualization is out of context with the reality of life, and thus it does not allow you to sense the patterns of resistance, immaturity, hang-ups, conflicts present within yourself. Here's how I would think if I were having a fantasy-based visualization about a beautiful relationship. This is how it would go. Everything is always beauty in its perfection when we are spending time together. Perfect sunsets, perfect beaches, perfect conversations, perfect food, perfect service, perfect weather, perfect scenery, perfect friends, etc. We are always on vacation spots. She does not have preferences of her own and is totally devoted to making me feel happy all the time. She does not have any selfishness in her and is only focused on what I want. Sex with her is always perfect, with no clumsiness in either of us, just like in some movies. She's looking pretty all the time with flowing hair, glowing skin, and cheerful eyes. We always have something to talk about or something fun to do. She is always around whenever I need her, but she gives me total space when I want to be on my own. She always understands my requirements for space. She listens to the music that I like to listen to. She watches movies I like to watch. She eats food that I like to eat, and we seem to have no conflict of opinions. She's always in a good mood and always feeling great and always in good health. I have the freedom to do what I want at any moment, with her adjusting to all of my requirements. Of course, one look at the above list that I just read, and you know that it's completely not reality-based. But most of us seem to visualize our desired realities in this manner, unknowingly, or because we prefer to stay in denial of facing up to some inner conflicts or immaturities. This is the reason why we seem to associate some form of extraordinary happiness with our own desired realities and create the illusion that once it manifests, we would somehow enter into experiences of constant joy. This is also the reason why some of our desired realities look so big to us. They seem larger than life. So what I have just read are the expectations of a narcissist. This is what the narcissist believes in. This is what he believes is and can be his or her reality. And anything that falls short of it, obviously, is your fault. You're not cooperating. You must not be the right one. You must be punished. Okay, here's a reality-based visualization. Any visualization that's based in reality always accounts for the ordinariness inherent in life. Moments of euphoria don't define happiness. They are experiences of fleeting thrills or kicks that come up now and then, especially when you are rooted in some fantasy-based thinking. True happiness is a constant sense of wholeness that you feel when you're no longer totally identified with the movements of the mind. It's the happiness inherent to your being, which is very ordinary in its calmness and stability, like being the depth of the ocean, allowing the waves to ripple on the surface. When you become aware of the ordinariness of life, you no longer have fantasy-based ideas about any of your desired realities. You put them in the right context of ordinariness instead of associating some extraordinary state of being with it. This is how I would have a reality-based visualization about a beautiful relationship. She is happy with the type of life I live, but also wants to bring some changes that help her fit in. She's not always trying to please me and pander to all of my whims and fancies. But she lets me know that she likes being with me through the small gestures of love and care that come through genuinely. Her well-being is one of my priorities, with the required maturity to try to understand her interests and inclinations. We may not always have great conversations. Sometimes there's hardly anything to talk about. We may not always have fun things to do and might just be spending a slow day together. There are times when I can relate to her way of thinking, and vice versa. She may have several relatives in her family whom I may not be compatible with, including her parents, and she may feel the same about mine. We would be discussing some very practical aspects of living, like finances, bills, and chores, and our conversations will not always be tinged with romance. She may not be in a mood for sex when I want it, and vice versa, and it won't always be picture perfect. She's not always in her best looks. In fact, hardly after we start living together, and her looks are not solely what I would be in the relationship for. What would be more important is the comfort we share with each other and the connection we feel in each other's company. I would have her problems and challenges added to my life as she's a part of my life. There would be several financial responsibilities that I would have added to my life, especially if I'm married or doing a live-in. Living together will soon reveal all her eccentricities, her quirks, and some annoying habits to me, as would be mine to her. I would need to be attending some of her family functions, sometimes out of a sense of responsibility to the relationship. She will continue to grow as an individual human being, which would reflect in her priorities and interests, and there's a possibility of her wanting to move out of the relationship to pursue those. I might have such an inclination too, as a possibility. She will not always be around. At some point, I would lose her either through her demise or mine. As you can see, a reality oriented visualization is not always rosy, but it is grounded in reality of life. The more you see, understand, and experience that ground reality of this physical existence on earth, the more clearer would be the context in which you place your desired realities. For example, if you desire financial abundance, don't just stay with fantasy dream about it, but allow yourself to really have a reality-based visualization of what it would be like to have a lot of money. Remember that if it feels extraordinary, it's not rooted in reality. Your maturity needs to be aligned with your reality of life, or someone who has a reality of life that corresponds with how things really are is a sign of maturity. That's why I often talk about maturity. It's not necessarily a narcissist who is not based in reality in terms of their expectations of a relationship. A lot of people are not grounded in reality for many different reasons. One of those is that reality may be too painful, and they don't want to look at it. Some of them compartmentalize. They're able to be grounded in reality in some aspects and totally ungrounded in reality in other aspects of their life. Society does not promote being grounded. Society promotes fantasizing about your dreams, and that if you aren't pursuing your dreams, no matter how unrealistic they are, then there's something wrong with you. Society pushes you to fantasize about all kinds of things because basically, look, media and television is not real. And even when it is real, it's all often stranger than fiction. Reality TV, for example. People portray certain things on Facebook, social media, television, news, radio. It's what they want you to know, and the things that they don't want you to know are kept hidden. So no one's getting a full view of other people's realities. They're presenting fantasy to you, and then therefore, since they have it and they push it, they expect us to be focused on our dreams, focused on porn, things that just are not going to happen, and to romanticize and fantasize about what a relationship's going to be like, which is what the narcissist does, and it's their clear expectations that it follows that. When it doesn't follow it, they start punishing you. And so one wonderful red flag is to determine whether your potential partner is grounded in reality, because the narcissist will not be. As a partner, you may not be a narcissist, but you may also have problems being grounded in reality. Face some of the pain and some of the feelings that you have so that you can actually grab onto the world, you can put your feet firmly on the ground, and that you don't have unrealistic expectations of how things work. You won't be disappointed that way, and you can actually build a true, genuine, authentic relationship with someone. Thanks for listening.